Welcome to UCC. You came back. Seriously, after a week like last week, you do wonder who is coming back. If you're brand new, maybe you're like, what kind of church is this? We are a Bible church. We teach the full counsel of God. And we are in the middle of this series called The Happy Ending According to Song of Solomon. Song of Solomon is a book of the Bible. And our goal in this series is to help you be able to handle this book of the Bible and let it guide you in all things pertaining to sex, marriage, and yes, even dating. So this series is not just for married people, it is also for the singles. All right? Now, last week we launched this whole series and we said that the sex thing is a God thing. And we talked about how that is a gift from God. The problem is that we've maybe perverted it. We've handled it in a way we maybe shouldn't have. And so we kind of came back to, well, the foot of the cross and grace. All right. And that was last week. But this week, we're really getting into the verses of Song of Solomon, kind of getting into the nitty gritty. And if I could give you a title of the sermon, all right, it would simply be this, is what we're going to talk about today is the art of attraction. Yes, because attraction matters. And I can prove it. Let me set it up like this. I'm a pastor, all right? But when I was single, right, you always knew you were in trouble when a pastor or a pastor's wife would walk up to you and be like, hey, Chris, there is this girl I want you to meet. She is so nice. Now, time out, all right? Because if you've ever been in that situation, okay, you are so stuck. All right, let me tell you why. Because all that's going through your mind, a pastor's wife is like, you got to meet this person. She's so nice, or he's so nice, right? As you're like, what's their problem? Seriously, it's just kind of how it is. Maybe I'm that jacked up, but I've asked this question before, and it's like we feel stuck. Why? Because you are worried who is on the other side of that blind date. Like you are worried, ladies, you are worried, like, does he have a unibrow? Right? Let's be honest. Is he going to shower? Right? What does he cut his fingernails? Right? And these are just basic things, right? The guys, here's our question. She ugly. That's just how it is, right? And so, therefore, what happens is when that pastor walks up to you, I have this person I want you to meet. What do? You are stuck, so you lie. Seriously, I know, you know, liars go to hell, Revelations 29:8. Like you get it, but you would rather beg for the grace and mercy of God than actually end up on that date and be really, really stuck, because then it's like, man, what is the pastor going to think of me? What is the church going to think of me? And so therefore you lie and you just go, you know what? I don't want to be married. Thank you very much, but I'm called to be single. I'm going to be celibate like Jesus. I'm going to worship Jesus. I'm going to practice his life. Thank you, but no thank you. Right? Let's be honest. Like that's real life. But why? Why is that our reaction? And here's why. Because attraction matters. Right? When you are single, attraction matters, right? It is one of the foundational pieces to the relationship, even that leads to marriage. When you're married, listen to me, attraction matters. I have never married that couple that have not been attracted to each other. I've never, you just disgust me. Like I've never said I do, heard that person say I do. Never had that, right? Even in marriage, I would even argue, if you want to have sex, attraction matters. Like it matters. And in the book of Song of Solomon, they make no bones about this. I mean, this is so in our face, because if you go back to last week, to understand this book, right, is that we have to understand three principles. First is that it's song poetry, okay? So what's happening in this book of the Bible is that there's snapshots or moments happening in this couple's life. And so you have Solomon, he's the king, right? He is betrothed or engaged to this woman, the Shulamite, right? And they're going through when they met, their wedding day, right? They get married, then they talk about their first fight, the first time they sizzled. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, it is so romantic, but attraction is a big piece of it. Well, watch this. The woman is speaking about her man in chapter 5, verse 10, where she says this: my beloved is radiant and ruddy. right? She's talking about his physical appearance, outstanding among 10,000, right? His head is pure gold. His hair is wavy and black as raven. His eyes are like doves. His cheeks are like beds of spice. His arms are like rods of gold set with topaz. So this guy had a membership to Gold's Gym. I mean, this guy was hitting it hard. His body was like polished ivory, decorated with lapis and lazuli. Okay, what is that? I'm not quite sure, but it's probably sexy, all right? His legs, pillars of marble, set on a base of pure gold, so he didn't miss leg day, okay? His mouth is sweetness itself. He is altogether lovely, right? Now don't miss that. This woman, all right, so remember, there's a snapshot of a moment right before they make out, all right? And she is looking him up and down. It's like, my man is hitting the gym. My man has showered. He's got his hair did, right? Like he has manicured and groomed himself, right, men? Like, let's be honest, the unibrow, no one ever said that was sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like nose hairs, all right? Men, listen to me. If you want to be attractive, get the nose hairs. Never, ever, ever was it like, sexiest man alive. I snorted a squirrel and his tail's hanging out of my mouth, right? I mean, that has never been said among men, right? But she is physically going, this man's working out, he's fit, he's mine, right? And then in reciprocation, don't miss this, the guy talks back in chapter 7, verse 4, he says, your neck is like an ivory tower, right? And watch what he's doing. Your eyes are like pools of Heshbon by the gate of Bath Ribbon. Okay, I'm not sure it's so poetic, but probably awesome, right? Your nose is like the Tower of Lebanon. So, okay, in case this guy's really into big noses, all right? But don't miss this. He says this, how beautiful you are. Your stature is like that of a palm. He's just taking it in. And your breasts are like clusters of fruit. I said, I will climb the palm tree and take hold of his fruits. Now, time out, all right? Like I said, this is a physical book, right? And what's happening here, right, is these two are attracted to each other, right? These two are into each other. And here is what I know, okay? Men and women, you guys listening, here's what I know. All of us go, I want that. All of us, right? Like if you're in love, married couples, right? Like ladies, would you not want your husband to view you in this poetic way where he's just in awe of your beauty? Men, wouldn't it be great if your wife was looking at you and she was just like, you're the man. You're the man, right? Like she's there, singles. You read this and you're like, yes. Climbing palm trees. Let's go, baby, right? Like, we all want this. Attraction matters, that thrill, that exhilaration of like, wow, right? But the million-dollar question is, how do we get there? Because here's what I'm willing to bet, is that there have been moments in your life and in mine where we're like, you know what? We've nailed that. And then there's other moments that it's like, man, we are so far away from attraction. It's like we're just living roommates, right? There are other times where like singles, right? You get lonely and you're like, man, should I drop my standard? Because I'm like, man, this is getting bad, right? Like how do we get to a place where you're so in love with your spouse, where dating, right? Like you're saving yourself so much that there's such an anticipation. How do we get there? And what I want to do, right, is go into chapter 1, verse 1, and what we're going to see is two truths come out of Scripture today. Two truths. And the first truth is this, is attraction is physical, but it's also very, very spiritual. Okay, so I don't want to mix words, all right? But like attraction, like it's physical, okay? Like we said, boys, take showers, okay? Put on deodorant. Groom yourself, okay? Ladies, listen to me. You got that pretty much nailed, okay? Let's just not go there, okay? But the point is that it's also a very deeply spiritual thing. And that's what we're going to learn about this couple. Is they were connected physically, yes, but it birthed from something spiritual. Okay, where do we get this from? Song of Solomon, chapter 1, right? We're going to go back to last week where we left off, where the woman is talking about her wedding day. She's getting ready. She's got the dress on. And she says this, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. Okay, there's a physicality to that. And then he says this, for your love. Okay, if you got a Bible, I want you to circle that word or underline that. It's huge. We're coming back to that. Your love is more delightful than wine. Pleasing is your fragrance of your perfume. Your name is like perfume poured out. Now, wonder the maidens love you. She's going, everyone loves you, right? Take me away from you. Let us hurry. Let the king bring me into his chambers, right? And if you were here last week, what are the chambers? It's the bedroom, okay? And so don't miss this, okay? This woman is amped for her wedding night. She is ready for the after party, if you know what I'm saying. Like, she is there. But the question you got to ask is what gets her there? And don't miss this, because the Bible is so clear. What brings about the kisses, what brings about all that's about to happen that night is his spiritual character and who he is as a man. Again, go back and reread it, right? She says, let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. Why? Because he's got an awesome job, he's rich, he's got a great house, he's got the car, he's got, like six-pack. No. She's like, let him kiss me with the kisses of my mouth because your love is more delightful than wine. Now, what does that word love mean to you? See, in the Hebrew text, this is the Hebrew word dowd. All right, and dowd is not just love, like I love you, okay? But this word dowd is what in Hebrew it would be the sacrificial type love, right? And so she's going, look, because of the man you are, because you're sacrificing, because you're laying down, look, I want you to kiss me, not just because I like who you are physically, but who you are as a man. Look, I'm down with that. And then keep going. Pleasing is your fragrance or perfume. Your name is like perfume poured out. You know what she's saying? She's going, listen, your character, who you are, how you live day in and day out, because you sacrifice for people. You lift others up. You think of others before yourself. Because you even treat me that way, she goes, sweep me away, take me to the bedroom. I am yours. Don't miss this. For us and those of us that might be frustrated in our marriage, that might be saying, I would love to have more attraction in my marriage. And here's my question that I have for you, all right, is where are you at with your love? And whose love are you modeling? See, because what I can't get away from is for this guy, sacrificial love. You know who's the beacon of that? It's Jesus. And before you shut me off and you're like, oh, here comes the Jesus stuff, don't miss this, don't miss this. Listen to me. You know what kind of sacrifice Jesus made? Okay, listen to me. Jesus stepped out of his comfort in heaven for you. Think about that. He saw you wallowing in your sin and was like, you know what? I love you. I'm going to come for you. You know what? I'm going to step out for you. And then when he came, he did not come to be served, but he came to serve, giving his life as a ransom for many. And as he's hanging on the cross, Jesus then even has the nerve to say, Father, forgive them. As they're spitting on him, whipping them, crucifying him, he's going, hey, God, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. But one day they will. One day, God, you'll soften their heart. And one day that they're going to have fall on their knees. They're going to repent. And in that moment, Jesus, what does he do? Again, he steps down into our lives, picks us up, and he loves us. He serves us with all the sacrifice. And I'm telling you, if you want more attraction, more sizzle in your marriage, singles, if you want to be attractive and start attracting the right kind of people to marry, right? Spend your life with, then here's my question. Where are you at with Jesus? Are you following Jesus? Are you modeling your life after Jesus? Because I'm telling you, every tension inside of marriage doesn't happen because the people are selfless, but it's because they become selfish. Right? You start to go, well, what about my needs? Well, what do I want? You have to do what pleases me. And I'm just saying, what would change? What would change if instead of you saying, please me, you just say, I'm going to lay my life down to please you? Here's what I know is that that will bring some sizzle. That will change some things. That will shift and turn so much, because truth number one, listen to me, attraction is physical, but it's also very, very, very spiritual. Truth number one. Truth number two is simply this, is guys and girls want different things. All right, now, I know. You're like, wow, Pastor P, so brilliant, okay? But don't miss this. Okay, what we're going to do, remember, we said we're going to read, this is song poetry, we're going to read a story, right? And then there's going to be, after the guy talks and the girl talks, and there's kind of like this verse, like in a song, right? After that, there's going to be a chorus, there's going to be a wise counselor, some friends speaking into it. All right, and right here, we're going to read that, all right? Where again, what happens next is she's picturing her wedding day, then she's all of a sudden, on her wedding day, she starts to realize, I'm marrying a king, and I'm just a peasant woman, and she starts to have some doubt. Right? Watch this. She says, how right they are to adore you. Dark am I, yet lovely, daughters of Jerusalem. Dark like the tents of Kedar, like the tent curtains of Solomon. Do not stare at me, because I am dark, because I am darkened by the sun. My mom's sons were angry with me and made me take care of the vineyards, yet my own vineyard I have neglected. Again, do you see the story? What's happening is she's starting to feel insecure because, see, people of wealth and that were in the king's palace always had fair skin because they were rich, had means, and didn't have to go work in the yard, okay? For her, she had tan lines. Okay, like she was like, look, my body, my garden, I've neglected because I've actually had to go to work. I had to do work for a living. I'm just a peasant girl, and I'm about to marry this king. Like, who am I? And she's starting to be insecure. Check this out, ladies, right? She's starting to be insecure about her body, about the night, the honeymoon night. Does that make sense? Okay, watch this. Tell me, she keeps talking, you whom I love. So she's going, hey, Solomon, where you graze your flocks and where you rest your sheep at midday, why should I be like a veiled woman beside the flocks of your friends? Again, what's going on there is she's going, I'm so insecure. She's asking, how can I trust you? Because see, back then, the shepherds would actually, in the middle of the day, engage sometimes in prostitution, okay? And so women would sneak through with veiled faces, covered faces, and they go do illicit acts with the shepherds, right? And so what she's saying, she's going, hey, Solomon, I'm insecure about this already, but how can I trust you? How can I trust that you're not just in this thing because of my body? How can I trust that you're not in this thing to just get what you want from me? Listen to me, single ladies, listen to me. Take a hint from this girl, because what she's saying is, Solomon, listen to me. I'm not going to be in this for what you can get from me. I'm in this for what we can do together. And singles, listen to me. I promise I'm not going to beat you up this whole series, but listen to me, singles. If you are dating someone that wants to get physical before marriage, then listen to me, that person is just not following Jesus. And I would argue they're only in it to see what they can get from it. Okay? And all I'm saying is that she's going, I'm not going on like that. Right? Keep reading. Because then the friends jump in, right? Because remember, all this is birthed out of insecurity. So then some wise counsel jumps in and they say, if you do not know, most beautiful of women, if you don't know who this guy is, they go, follow the tracks of the sheep and graze your young goats by the tents of the shepherds. What she's saying, she's going, hey, look at proofs in the pudding. Like, you've dated this guy. He's courted you. She's going, look, I know you can feel so insecure, but listen to me. What has he been doing? Go for his reputation. He's not like those people. He has saved himself for you, right? And then watch this. Then as you fast forward a little bit, in verse 15, it says this, he then speaks, how beautiful you are, my darling. Oh, how beautiful, your eyes are doves. Then she speaks, how handsome are you, my beloved. Oh, how charming. And our bed is verdant. He then says, the beams of the house are cedar. Our rafters are firs. Don't miss this, is that he actually crafts his bedroom to look like her home so she can feel secure on their wedding night. And as he's like, I've made this for you, I've prepared this for you, she then still has an insecurity gland. Even now they're into their wedding night where she says, I am the rose of Sharon, a lily of the valleys. And then back when where she was in her home, A lily of the valley, there is just one of many. She's going, I am just like everyone else. I'm so common. Yet he says, yeah, a lily among thorns is my darling among young women. And then she says, watch this. It says she overcomes her insecurity. They're now on the bed. Like an apple tree among trees of the forest is my beloved among the young men. She's like, you know what? You are one of a million. I delight to sit in his shade, and his fruit is sweet by my taste. You know what she's saying? I can take comfort in you. Let him lead me to the banquet hall, and let his banner over me be love. And that is where we're going to end it, because after this, they go climb the mountains of Bether, if you know what I'm talking about, and they kind of go do some things that, again, like I told you, if I read them and explained them to me, I would have to fire myself. Okay? Okay? But don't miss this, right? Because they're going back and forth, right? They're serving each other. They're loving each other. There's this woman going, I'm going to marry a king. Like, this is crazy. And she's so insecure, yet at the same point, he loves her in such a way, meets her where she's at, that all of a sudden she becomes completely open, completely free for her. You know what? Take me. I'm yours. We're there. How do you get there? And men, don't miss this. Don't miss this. Because what every woman wants, okay? Men, you want sizzle, okay? You want that, okay? What everyone wants is to feel safe and secure in your arms. That's what she means. And from what I see in this text is Solomon did that two ways. Two ways. First thing, men, Solomon stayed pure. Now, I'm just wondering what would change in our marriages or what would change in our relationships, men, if we pursued them with purity rather than trying to get what we can get. Like, I'm just wondering, like, instead of subjecting women to what the standard of beauty is in America, you start to look at, hey, God, you gave me this woman and she is my standard of beauty. I wonder what would happen to a woman's secure insecurities if she found that we weren't looking at things online, we weren't wishing she was doing other things, but we just had her. What would happen? I'm telling you, she would blossom, she would grow, she would move. But this woman, she knew. Solomon was staying pure for Mary, therefore she felt secure. Second thing he did is Solomon knew who she was. We're again, understand. Sex in the right way, listen to me, it is intimate. Now again, men, let me explain this to you, okay? Men, let me speak to men, okay? What does intimacy mean? Okay, the best definition I've ever had of this is intimacy. It's into me you see. Intimacy. Into me you see. Men, I'm just wondering, how many times are we driving our wives towards insecurity because we don't really see them? We just want something from them. See, listen to me. I'm guilty of that. Okay, like I'm there. But here's what I've found out, man. Is if I would see my wife, if I would see who she is and connect and ask about her, listen to me, it opens her up. Listen to me, guys, a woman is like, it's like a rose. She has to be one petal at a time. You know, she has to have time to open up. And my question is, listen to me, how often do we ask her how her day was? How often do you ask, hey baby, what are your fears? Hey baby, what makes you feel insecure? And listen to me, guys, if you would just ask that and just listen, I'm telling you, the answers will blow your mind. Again, what bothered her was that you always want the lights on. Listen, what if her insecurities were like this woman? Her body, she's just ashamed of. She's like, I'm not there. I'm not 20 anymore. I've had kids, right? But then you flip all the lights on, and it just drives me away from you. Like, what would your answer be, right? Every husband I know, cut the lights off, blindfold me, just let's go, baby, right? Like, I mean, that would be where we're at. Or maybe sometimes women, like, they're anxious about their kids. Right? And when the kids aren't secure and the kids aren't there, there's no opening up about any intimate things, right? Well, what do you do with that? Guys, if you would listen, if you would hear that, man, she's worried about the kids, and listen to me, get a babysitter, get a hotel room. Listen to me, if she's a stay-at-home mom, take the kids to grandma's. You know, I mean, Do whatever it takes. I promise, if you slow down enough, man, if just sear, and stay pure, it's amazing what will unfold. Man, that we got to build safety and security. The next, ladies, what does every man want? Seriously, ladies, think. What does every man want? Okay, very simple. Sex and food. All right. That's it. Which I know. I kid. Okay, but it's kind of true. See, ladies, understand. You know what your husband wants? He just wants you. Like, if your husband's still married to you, look, I know he might come home and he might be dead to you and just stare at a TV and be really into sports, and you'd be like, man, if you would fondle me like you do that remote, man, I'd be on, right? But hang on. The fact he's with you, he just wants you. He wants you. Like, that is it. And the problem is, like, go back to the woman. Ladies, we feel... I'm not a we, okay? But my wife has told me, you feel so insecure, right? Like, again, if you're a mom, like, again, your kids, they ruined your hair. They broke your ribs, right? They put stretch marks on your body, right? And then you're sitting there going, man, and you just want me to take it all off, and here we are, and then you're subjected to everything in Hollywood and what's on TV, and you're sitting there going, man, and and there's a pulling back. But listen to me, ladies, if you would push forward, I promise you, all your husband wants is you. But he wants you to be fully alive in the bedroom with him. That's all he wants. And I know we tend to push back on that, but I don't know what I can give him. Listen, like I said, turn the lights low. Like I said, like talk about it. Talk about your insecurities. Communicate about things you like to do or don't like to do. Understand, guys, we're pretty dumb. Okay, and it is that basic. What every man wants, right, is what we're reading. A woman to say, take me, I'm yours, and give yourself fully to him. That's what we're not holding back, not letting your mind go to other things, but you're in the moment with him. That's what he wants. But men, don't miss this. That won't happen until they feel secure and safe. And thus, the conundrum. What everyone wants is fully alive with each other. Yet we want different things. So how do we begin? Because oftentimes a guy won't let a girl feel safe and secure because she's not fully open. She's not fully open because she's not fully secure. And thus you have this. And what do you do? What do you do? Well, I think that's why Solomon wrote this book. We do what he did. We love. We become like Jesus. When someone has to lay it down. That sacrificial love. Where again, for you, here's what I want to happen as we end this whole entire thing. If you're with your spouse, then what I want you to do is I just want you to hold each other's hand right now. I just want someone to grab each other's hand and realize whoever initiated that thing, it don't matter. Just hold it. If you're single, you need to hold your hand. All right? But here's what I want. Every single fears the wrong person. Every married person gets tired of the fight. But what we all want is to one day have the happy ending. Now, I'm not talking about the pervert. I'm talking about that moment that when we said I do, how we began is how we end. Where we're together, fully alive in each other's lives. Here's what I know is that only happens when we put on the love of Jesus to love each other. And so with that, I want you to bow your heads. I want you to close your eyes, and I'm going to lead us into our communion moment. Okay, what that means, okay, if you're brand new, is that we have stations on my left and right. You maybe got the elements when you walked in. But the reason we end with communion every single week is for this moment for you to be whatever we talked about, be hand in hand with Jesus. Because married people, what we need is someone needs to stop being selfish. We lay it down, man, we need to put the phone down. Put that down. Let her be the object of our affection. Be safe and secure. Let her know, man, you're beautiful. You're everything I want. Lift her up with our words. Ladies, what we need is to overcome some of the insecurities and allow him to wrap his arms around us in our security of our home and know he loves you. And I understand there's a back and forth to that, but here's what I know is that the only way that happens is if the grace of God, the love of God, actually washes over your marriage. And that's why it's a two coming together. Again, if you're single, again, I believe it's still how you love will determine who you attract. Attraction matters. I'm telling you, where are you at with Jesus? All of us have to answer that question. And my hope is that you'll be so astounded by the grace of God that you and me will begin to act that way, serving one another, loving one another, putting others first, and our reputation will lead us. Because attraction matters, and it's so physical, but it's also very, very, very spiritual. And so in these next few moments, when you feel ready, I'm going to ask you to get up out of your seat, come forward, all right? And what we're going to do is we got the wafer, that's the bread, that's the body of Christ broken for you. Jesus is saying, like, I know you've messed this up, but my power can unite you guys. And then we take the juice, that's the payment, that's his blood sacrifice for our sins, saying, I'm their full forgiveness. And listen to me, there might be some things you need to say sorry to your spouse about. There might be some things you need to say sorry to God about. Maybe you've compromised some things. Listen, wherever it is. The reason we do communion every week is because it's a physical illustration of the grace of God washing over our lives. Saying, I got this. I'm going to serve you. Let Jesus serve you. So we think, go serve people. Jesus, in these next few moments, do your great healing work. God, let us know attraction matters. God, you gave us that gift. But God, ultimately, attraction is spiritual. And how we love each other matters. And so, God, I know we have marriages here where some might want something more from their spouse. There's other couples here that maybe their spouse is holding stuff back. Maybe there's singles in the room that you're just going, I just am so lonely. God, wherever they're at, God, I pray that right now, in this holy moment, God, that you would do your great work. Put your spirit over our lives. Let your forgiveness wash over our lives. And God, let us see that, God, you on the cross served us, loved us, put us first. Therefore, we can do that for other people, especially our spouse. And so, God, I love you. I thank you for your word. I thank you. It's so practical. And God, as we leave, God, I pray that we'd remember to love each other. Love each other. But let us sit in this moment of Holy Communion. In your name we pray. Hey, if you're watching online, maybe you don't have communion elements or whatever, but this message mattered to you. Listen to me, if it did and you would love to reach out for prayer, or maybe you would love to start a relationship with Jesus, maybe you've never found God before, man, me or another pastor would love to pray with you, love to connect with you. If that's you, you can email me at info@unitecommunitychurch.com or download our app anywhere you download apps. And me or another pastor would love to connect with you and help you take next steps, because we exist as a church, okay? Not to talk about marriage, not just to fix relationships, not to help single people find people, but look, we exist so that you and I can discover and love who Jesus is. I love you guys. We'll see you next week where we are going to talk about dating. It's going to be super awesome. Love you guys. We'll see you then.